Yes, we've still got George the Poet in the building. Let's give him another clap out here. He deserves 2 claps out here. He deserves 2 claps. Let me say that again too. Brit nominated George the Poet. Let's keep it real now. Also, I wanted to say one thing I've always seen you speak about is the perception of, to be honest with myself too, I say it, the perception of a black male in the media right now, in today's society. Tell us your take on that, because it's a deep one.
I feel like it's straightforward, isn't it? There's bare kinds of black men, in it. Like, my dad was just a working man. Just went to work, innit? There are some lawyers, there are some doctors, there are some teachers, there are some just I don't know, like everyday people. You don't see everyday people. Like you don't have a reference point for every kind of black man or black woman. You know, like it's like you get fed the same images over and over again. Like if someone says, what do black people do? What are black people good at? Entertainers and sports people, you know, which is crazy because how many like professional entertainers and sports people do we know in our communities relative to everyone else who does the same things as everyone else? Yeah. Right. And I feel like the reason for that is that it's rooted in racist like ideology, like perpetuating the image of the black man as scary and hypersexual, hyper masculine, hyper violent, and ultimately it is translated in markets as, I don't know, man. Check mainstream hip hop now. It's like that's the narrative that is. So it's kind of weird that these things were written about and documented in the 1920s, yet in the 2010s you've got like millions of black men being promoted as voluntarily subscribing to that whole narrative. It's just a bit of a strange coincidence to me.
It's almost like that's what's being portrayed in the media, that's what people are, it's kind of like that whole, they take, I don't know, like especially in film and stuff, like the only time you see diversity or like young black men in films is like it's always like kidulthood or something that's that's conforming to what they what the system or what people believe 100%. Black men to be.
And I realised that I was getting swept up in that, even though I've never tried to put myself across as part of the problem. Whenever I was invited on the news, there was a period of time where I kept being invited to talk about racism, to talk about gangs and prisons, like
immigration. Sky News.
We've got a cool young black man who's going to talk about the things that we assign black people to talk about. Do you get me? Like, what if I want to talk about climate change? What if I want to talk about astrophysics? What if I want to talk about, you know, the gaps in the education system across the board, not just for young black men who happen to be an underachieving group in the education system? So when I realised that's when I made a conscious effort to try to pull back and try and just talk about more. Obviously, I got to address the real. That's where Baby Mum, Chicken and the Egg comes from. Songs like Baby Mum, which you just played. But at the end of the day, that's just one aspect of this whole life that I've seen and experienced.
Can I also just say, commend you on the fact that I was a younger Tyrone watching Sky News, seeing another young black male conduct himself in such a certain way, in a certain environment that I guess we don't normally see it. Seeing one that seems like they're from a certain area, just like yourself, and seeing them conduct themselves was a great thing for me to see. Now, I also want to say, even in this urban world, I guess, in terms of whether you're doing grime, whether you're doing UK hip-hop, whether you're singing, you don't normally get to see, even at that point, even if you're a star, you don't normally see us in those environments with them. When I say them, I mean that in such a small way. But also, how would you say the perception of young black males or young black females or even ethnicity is in those environments, like Sky News? Because it is, I don't want to make out as if it's not a situation when I feel like it is.
Well, I don't study Sky News, so I'm not like the most qualified person to speak. What I will say is I was received respectfully, but I noticed that they do things that are just typical of news stations. They'll go for the sensationalized. One time I was on Sky News debating with Nigel Farage, and the government, this was way before the general election last year, it was 2014 again, and the government had just piloted a campaign where they put, not the go home thing, sorry, we're just talking about immigration. Immigration was on the country's mind, and they had a list of statistics. The first one was that 69% of the country feel like immigration is going to be a big concern in the next election. The second statistic was 82% of that 69% have never met an immigrant. Yeah, but they asked us, they asked me and Nigel Farage about that question. I was a bit on the back foot, so I didn't realise that was my opportunity to bring in the other statistic, but they just moved on. They didn't mention, they were like, yeah, you know, like everyone's concerned about 69%. I mean, isn't that a worrying figure? That chatty patty culture, like let's talk about this, and let's make everyone kind of gassed about this, but let's not actually let's not have a fair, balanced conversation.
Right, yeah. I feel like they ask you certain things, especially like most news channels that I've seen you go on, I feel like they ask you something, they don't give you the space to like kind of elaborate on it, and then as soon as you start to kind of touch on something else, they kind of just come in and like switch it back. So it's almost like they're acting, and they do this a lot, especially with young people and young people from ethnic backgrounds. They do it a lot where they act like they're giving you a platform to talk, like, look, we're getting this young X whatever type of person in to talk about something, but really you're not really given the actual. Yeah,
but really, you know, what I agree with, what I've learned is that anywhere you go, you got to fight. Like, I grew up having to fight, so why would that stop? Like, even in my community, on the estate I grew up in St. Raf's, and there was a period of time where everyone was converting to Islam, but I grew up Christian. So we didn't fight, but I used to debate with the elders on the block, and I got mad respect for that. Like, just engaging on an intellectual level about our chosen faiths. No one fell out, you understand? And I wouldn't have been noticed, I wouldn't have been acknowledged, all the elders saw me before they knew that I spit, before anyone saw me becoming a poet. I was about 13, 14 years old, just arguing with, 20-somethings who come out of prison, converted all of the youngers. And just on the basis of me fighting, standing my ground and stating my point, I was afforded respect. So really, I take that principle anywhere I go. It's not going to be given to you.
I was going to say, I hadn't have a question, but even just your answer there just threw me onto something else. What has made George the Poet? Like, because you said when you were 13, 12, you were sitting there arguing about your points and stuff like that. It sounds like it was in you. Now, from early on, what do you think influenced you to be the way you are?
I think so many things were wrong, and they were explained to me. It was my mum explained, like, sat us down and watched Roots, the whole of it, explained about the transatlantic slave trade. Do you get me? And I realised things about our community, and also my heroes were black men who I celebrated for the example, not just like the swag, but the example that they set to me. Muhammad Ali being probably the biggest one, and I was aware of the things that he said and the arguments he articulated, so that was always in me. So I think because a lot of these things, the wrongs that have been done to us, haven't been addressed, in the back of my mind I was always trying to find ways to solve it. So I entered my teens with that in the back of my mind, and everything that I collected, everything that I consumed, I assessed it against that. So it's been decades of like being frustrated, basically, which makes me
who you are
like this.
What are you currently working on now, and what were you expecting?
So there's the Search Party app's the next big thing, man. The Search Party app is going to be live next month. I think people are really going to like it. I ain't seen nothing like it before. It was again born out of a lot of different ideas and frustrations, and I think it's a cool little solution still.
So that's available on
That's going to be available in the App Store from January.
App Store. Is it free or is it?
Yeah, it's free.
Is it for free?
Yeah. People need to get it.
I'll be getting it, that's for sure. I'll
definitely. Same. Do you know what's funny? There was this thing that I think Latimer was doing it, and where there was this platform where young people could kind of put forward their like innovative ideas, and me and my friend sat down and thought, why is there not an app about exactly what you're doing? So I think it's important that someone's actually brought that out, and someone like you that can actually put that forward to so many different types of people as well. I want to go back quickly to the music side of things. So Chicken and the Egg, If the Shoe Fits, kind of for me was a great song, mostly because of the different perspectives that were in that track. You could have kind of done it just one sort of person talking, but correct me if I'm wrong, is it three different, it's from different perspectives, What made you do that as opposed to just kind of talking for the men or for the women, or do you know what I mean?
It's a very good question. I love your questions, man. First questions to end the year with. Okay. So, I started writing, again, I wrote that in Uganda. In Uganda I'm very relaxed. I was just thinking about things. and a friend of mine was going through her baby father was pissing her off, and
Oh, so that was an experience, an actual.
yeah, like
an actual thing. Okay.
yeah, all of this stuff, like the chicken and the egg, is all stuff that I've seen in it. So I started with that your boyfriend's about to become your ex-boyfriend. I think the original line was something you have insecurities and he exploits them.
Oh, okay.
And I wrote her perspective up to a certain point, and my mind went on a tangent, and I thought, because I know, like, because I'm on the phone with my friends, hearing their stresses, I like, with a lot of my female friends, I'll be able to say to them, but you know what he's saying right now, though, innit? Like, when I was in that position, so I know the alternative perspective, and it was more interesting to me to bring that in. Let me not even let her finish her piece. She's saying all these legitimate things. I feel like you're cheating. You're not communicating with me. You know that after our history, what we've been through, I can't take this. And the man in me is just like, you understand? So
yeah, fully.
And it would be easy for me to be like, that's not a very nice thing to say, but it's real though.
It's truth, yeah.
So I wanted to put that in, and then I just started having fun. I was like, imagine if me, as the narrator, I'm the little snake now, and I'm coming into her, and the story just came.
That was sick, and the way it ended for me was perfect. Personally, I think that's the best way you could have put the message forward, and I was so grateful that you did that, because me, I'm the only girl. I've got 2 brothers.
Okay.
So for me, I'm around guys a lot, so I know how they think, that little slime bag sort of ways. Do you know what I mean? So for me, if my friends, like, much like you, if my friends talk to me about certain things, I'm like, yeah, but you got to see. There's always there's always this perspective, that perspective. Then the third party that's got nothing to do with it, that sees it clearly for what it actually is. So it's so important that you actually put the third character in, because it wouldn't have done it justice, just the girl and then the guy.
I'm glad, because I was worried. A lot of people said that was confusing.
No, not at well.
No.
I mean, it could be for some people, but for me, it was like
Thank you.
I had to will that a couple times. I was like, no way. Also, no, real quick. So I want to let him speak, because I'm just kind of taking over a little bit. But chasing status.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd hear spoken word on a drum and bass sort of sound. So for me, that was like mad to listen to. That was like, wow. It almost I felt like maybe the grime MC in you inside you was a little bit like, yeah, gas for it. How was it kind of like keeping it spoken word? Cause
alright, the joke is you again, good question. I came at it as a grime MC. That whole verse, I wrote it at a grime tempo. When I heard the beat is everybody's free, I was like, I believe in the meaning of spoken word, the feeling of freedom and healing and bleeding. You know, like that.
Yeah.
And they were like, nah.
Oh, so they told you no?
Please do the poetry thing.
Oh, okay.
I was like, people have heard me do poetry, but they were like, yeah, but they ain't heard it over this.
Interesting.
I see what you're doing.
So that was a conscious thing. So that was more them kind of.
That was their direction.
Oh, okay.
They said, I like, if you try and split the whole verse as a grime verse, it will fit perfectly, because that's how it was written. They just said, no, talk it.
Right, so also
Sick.
we've got a question here from someone outside the room who was desperate to get a question in. She's also Ugandan and she's doing a lot. We've had her up here 3 times, in fact, Hayley Melenda. Also, this is her question. If there was one thing you wanted to do for young black males to show them that dreams do come true, what program would you run to push that ideology? To be honest, seem like you have read.
I'm doing it now, the search party app. So the whole point of the search party app is to show everyone, not just young black men, the power of our thoughts. My poems are my thoughts. I put them into rhyme, but I'm just sure that I can actually change the world. I think about that all the time. So I'll come up with a system of proving that. If I can put the poem in one place and then put some instructions straight after it, you're going to see what people do. And over time, that community is going to become a network, and the network's going to become a movement. And if you just watch what I'm about to do with the search party app, I'm not a very good salesman, innit? But I can only tell you what's real, innit? Watch what's about to happen. You're going to know that your power is more than you can probably comprehend at this moment.
Love it. Also, I wanted to say, as a whole, going forward too, I wanted to know, because I really mean this too, because I know that you influence people even like you're influenced by people like Tupac Shakur, same way myself. Now I wanted to know, what is your end goal? Because you just said you know you can change everything, or change the world, or believe you can. Now, what is your end goal? Or what do you feel like you really are capable of?
I feel like I'm capable of creating a community that is capable of changing the direction of society. Like, for example, we're all frustrated right now. Like, Trump's about to become US president. Brexit was a shock for many of us in our age group. And we can all say why these things don't make complete sense to us. Yeah, but after we've said it, what can we do? We're not gonna all just sign up to a political party and just be able to express be represented on that level. But what we can do is like I was saying about the people that love peace needs to organize. We can organize ourselves to the most effective goal, and it's easy to talk about those things, but it's even harder to do it once and then make a lifetime, so make a career out of it. That's my goal. I'm trying to make a career out of addressing the things that I'm talking about, like affecting the things I'm addressing. Literally.
I think you're gonna definitely do a lot with the Search Party app. I think that's the best thing because a lot of us young people want change. We want this, we want that. I want better, a better education system, but whatever. But what can we actually do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's important that you talk about that. Also, I wanted to say we've heard George the MC, George the poet.
Up for not too long.
Sorry. I want to know a bit about George the person. Yeah. No, actually, no. I want to play a game with you. This is a game. It's a very quick, seeing as we don't have a lot of time. It's called Whose Side You On. So it kicks off with Tupac or Biggie.
Tupac.
Hey.
Hot or cold.
Hot.
Ketchup or mayo.
Ketchup.
Rice or noodles.
Rice.
Nas or Jay-Z.
Don't hurt my feelings, man.
Jay-Z.
Night or day. Let him be himself, man. Let him be himself.
Night.
Okay, I lost myself. Flat or fizzy.
Flat.
Weekdays or weekends.
Weekends.
Weekends. Suit or trackies.
Trackies.
Family Guy or American Dad.
Family Guy.
Lauren London or Megan Good.
Megan Good.
Yeah, that's what I say. A lot of people say Lauren. I think Megan as well. Garage or house.
Oh, that's hard.
That's a tough.
House.
Oh, I've got to say garage. I can't like.
I know. Tomorrow I'll say garage.
Hip hop or R&B.
R&B, man.
Okay. Sweet or savory.
Savory.
Mild or spicy.
Spicy.
Night or day.
I said night.
I think. Oh, did I say that already? Oh, whoops, that's so bad. All right, cool. So that's a bit about.
There we go.
Bam. There we go.
Also, I want to just say thank you for George coming down here to blessing LDNRBS today. Let's give it. I'm trying to say for my own personal thing to run for Prime Minister out here, man. We need it. Because believe me, I'd rather vote for you out here than vote for anybody else. Put it that way. So let's keep with that. But LDNRBS got Timeless DJ coming on next. Hey.